Hey guys, it's Dennis here, and I'm joined by,
Joshua Vayers.
and yeah, Happy New Year to everyone. This is our first episode back since the new year, and you may be wondering the first thing is the whole new look, the new logo, new design. If you saw the channel or whatever. So, anyways, yeah, this channel has been rebranded to Revog, which actually isn't going to be just game stuff. We're actually going to put a bunch of different stuff, kind of. Movies, television related stuff, sketch stuff, deep fake stuff, like a whole bunch of stuff that we had done before on Collider. So this channel actually has split off from Collider and kind of going to be doing kind of some similar stuff and some new stuff as well. So I just want to let you guys know we'll have more updates on that in the future, and we'll have more regular programming or videos. You know, it's actually been kind of dead this last couple of weeks in terms of games news, but this week it really kind of picked up. But anyways, let's get into the first thing we want to talk about is the Indiana Jones teaser trailer, which kind of came out of the blue. It's an announcement from Bethesda that Machine Games, one of their developers, is going to be making this game, this Indiana Jones game. We don't know too many details about it. They said it's going to take place during the height of Indiana Jones, so he's probably gonna be fighting some Nazis and whatnot, and also that through the teaser trailer, which doesn't really show any gameplay footage, it shows like a ticket to Rome. People are saying it's probably related to the Vatican City. There's probably some sort of mystery / adventure that happens there. Josh, what do you think about this announcement in the teaser trailer?
I'm stoked for it, man. I immediately think of the success of the Lara Croft franchise, and so there's definitely a market for it. I don't think that they're gonna. I don't know. Like from the beginning, I wouldn't say high hopes, but I think that they're gonna do a good job. The teaser trailer looked good. Right off the top though, I don't really know what to expect. I'm hoping, obviously, we're gonna have something that's fairly story driven, I would imagine. And then a lot of puzzle solving. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I really like. I'm gonna be disappointed if there's not one like level where I'm running around like when I'm running from a giant boulder. If there's not one level where I'm running from a giant boulder, I'm gonna be very upset. And like things like that. Like I hope that there's a like that's the exciting part of the idea of this game for me. The exciting part is going to like dungeons and tombs and solving the puzzles and trying to get my like escape and stuff like that. And I think that's going to be like also makes me think a bit of like National Treasure, you know, if that was going to be a video game.
Yeah, I'm looking at a list of like Indiana Jones games, and it's been a while since we had a big one. The last quote unquote big one was
I
the
don't think we've ever
Lego
had
Indiana Jones 2,
yeah, I don't
if
think
I'm
we've ever had
correct.
I don't think we've ever had like a 3D one besides I guess the Lego games like the older I mainly I like remember the 2D ones, the old school platformers, you know.
I remember like the more adventure style ones, like Fate of Atlantis, that type of stuff. You know,
Mm.
Indiana Jones and the Emperor's Tomb, like that style, where it's like kind of like I guess the Emperor's Tomb, is that 3D? It looks 3D-ish to me. It came out on Xbox and PlayStation 2. Yeah, that was 3D.
Yeah.
But we haven't had like a big one in a while. Bethesda, you know, obviously they've had some troubles recently with Fallout 76 and whatnot. But before that kind of fiasco, they were actually pretty bulletproof. Man, some of my favorite companies like Bethesda and BioWare, whenever they've been going through a rough patch lately. So hopefully both of them rebound. You know, Bethesda also got recently purchased by Microsoft, which hasn't gone through yet, but should happen, I think, sometime this year. So weird because it's 2021
Yeah.
now. And
Machine
my
the
mind is
Machine
still stuck in
Games, the studio.
22. Yeah, Machine Games, which has done the Wolfenstein games, the recent
Yeah.
Wolfenstein games, is doing it. So it's going to be interesting to see if they're going to do like a first-person thing, a third. I would assume a third-person thing. If you're playing Indiana Jones, you kind of want to see Indiana Jones, you know. So
Yeah,
yeah.
they did the last one. They did Young Blood as well. Well, so far, what it seems here as well is they said that it will not impact Starfield or the Elder Scrolls 6. It won't really impact the development there, or even the Fallout TV series that's still coming out.
Hmm.
So at least that's what it seems like. It's not going to be affecting their release schedule at all. But it also makes me think that we're not going to be seeing this for a while. Even though we got that little teaser trailer,
Hmm.
like that was, that's not exactly any grounds for them having done any work so far. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean the teaser
They're probably still
trailers.
heavy in pre-production.
Yeah, the teaser trailer really does. I mean, shows you inklings of perhaps what the game could be about. They said there's a plane ticket to Rome dated in October 1937. There's a map of including the Sistine Chapel on the desk, So those kind of hints, but there's no like, you're not seeing any type of gameplay or whatever. So this may
Yeah.
just be more like, hey guys, this is coming. So, and
Well,
there's
supposedly Todd Howard's a huge fan, so there is that at least. Like it is being made, but like Todd Howard is a huge fan. He has like a lot of memorabilia, so it looks like
Yeah,
they'll
they
take it
were saying that
seriously.
that maybe he had hinted at it before because there was interviews with him and he had I'm sure it was a replica of the idol, the
Yeah,
Raiders of the
and
Lost
like a,
idol
li- a
in
live
his
live stream of last year.
yeah. So they're like maybe he was hinting at you'll have the new
Mm.
Indiana Jones movie that's supposed to be coming out in 2022, directed by James Mangold. So perhaps that might be a good time. It's too soon for this year, so maybe 2022 would be a good time. I mean, obviously, well, I would assume it's not connected to the movie, as the movie starring Harrison Ford as he
Oh
is
yeah,
now, which they're gonna have to write some sort of current day, or not current day, but however they time out his age from Indiana Jones to whatever that would be nowadays, but versus this one, which is supposed to be kind of peak Indiana Jones.
yeah. I'm looking forward to the whipping mechanic.
Yeah,
I'm curious to see is how they're going to be doing the whipping mechanic.
yeah. So
And
this kind
I
of
wonder if we get like a fun little traveler with us, because there's always a companion, So I'm curious. So we're gonna have a companion. I don't know. Those are
I'm
my
sure.
thoughts.
So this kind of announcement kind of led into this bigger thing that we're going to talk about today, which is that if you watch the teaser trailer, you'll see obviously you see Bethesda's logo, you see a Machine Games logo, but you also see the Lucasfilm Games logo, which is kind of having its resurgence in a way because they kind of went away for a little while, or maybe not went away, but there was like some sort of like they had to like rebrand themselves.
Yeah,
Um,
Lucasfilm Games instead of I
yeah,
guess LucasArts.
yeah, and so you see that, which now we're learning that EA's kind of exclusivity of Star Wars games is ending and it's not going to be renewed.
Thank God.
Yeah, a lot of people are not happy with what they did with the license. There was, Jedi Fallen Order last year, or 2 years ago now, that is 2021. That was a bright spot for them, but in terms of like Battlefront and whatnot, they weren't delivering what fans kind of wanted from the license. And EA is actually still going to be making Star Wars games, so inevitably we will get Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order 2. And I'm sure Respawn will probably be developing that as well. But because the license is no longer exclusive, they can shop it around to different studios and different publishers. And one of the big announcements was Ubisoft doing an open world story driven Star Wars game that everyone's been waiting for, because there's been other ones in the past that have been worked on that just never came to fruition for whatever reasons, whether it was costing too much, et cetera, et cetera. So now this one is they're actually recruiting for it now. So obviously it's very early stages, but it's nice to know that this is on the radar along with whatever else is already in the works. What do you think about this announcement and the fact that EA is no longer the exclusive Star Wars video game publisher?
Well, I mean, I think I'm pretty happy with this decision overall because it's not that I didn't want EA to stop making Star Wars games. I just didn't want them to exclusively be making Star Wars games, you
Mhm.
know, because I will say currently right now, Star Wars Battlefront 2 is free on the Epic Game Store. I've been playing it for the past 2 days with my friends. Been having a great time. The story's been quite interesting as well. The campaign, like it's a fun game, but it's been fixed. You know what I mean? Like I didn't get to experience it when it first came out with like the onslaught of microtransactions. Apparently, the game was fixed and it's like a really good game now.
Mhm.
But we've just been get we like okay. Besides before Fallen Order, we've been
Mhm.
getting the same type of Star Wars games for the longest time. Where like it's fun, but we haven't really been getting this open world RPG game that we've all been craving, or just an RPG in general, like a Star Wars
Mhm.
RPG. Or at least some kind of RPG mechanics. Everyone wants a Knights of the Old Republic 3, or like we said, hopefully we're getting a remake where they're putting 1 and 2 together. Uh, I'm very, very, very excited for an open world game coming from Ubisoft specifically. I uh, I wonder what they would do for the combat. You know what I mean? If they're going to take any notes from what Respawn did with Fallen Order, because the mechanics there were sick, but I don't know. It depends what like how heavy they're going to go into RPG mechanics. Because a lot of people were saying when they saw this, they're hoping it's not just going to focus on the Jedi and the Sith as usual. Like hopefully it's the whole world of Star Wars. You know, kind of like the Knights of the Old Republic, where you could be like these different classes and stuff. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like I think that would be quite exciting to see. Um, where it's like I don't know. I'm mind you, I'm kind of like on the path of both of it. Like I do want like a proper Jedi RPG game, but at the
Mhm.
same time, it would be nice to have this big open world game with different classes you can choose. Where it's like you're playing, you can either be like a bounty hunter, you know what I mean? You can
Mhm.
be a Jedi, you can be stormtrooper, etc. Like it would be cool if that is something that's going to be an option. But yeah, all in all, it's just a good option. Like I don't think anybody should have an exclusive deal with a property this big. You know what I mean? Like there's so much more possibilities and so much more good things that can come out of it if you let other studios tackle it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think along those lines, my thinking too was Star Wars is so big that it's like it's going to be, at least for me, an apt comparison, but some people might find weird, is it's like the NFL license, right? The NFL license is huge. And you used to have two big players in it. You had Madden and you had 2K. I was actually more of a 2K guy than a Madden guy. But once Madden in EA bought out that license exclusively, it basically essentially killed 2K, maybe not 2K games because the NBA game is doing so well, but it killed the football, the NFL product. They tried like a year or two of trying to like making football games that didn't have the license to them, but it just didn't work because people want to play with the real teams, with the real players and whatnot. And nowadays, the real coaches and all that stuff. But it just kind of kills the competition, right? I mean, if you want to play an NFL game, you have to buy Madden. So for these, I think what 7, 8 years, because I think it was 2013 when the EA Disney deal went for Star Wars. Like so, in that period of time, you could only play EA Star Wars games, and so I'm like you. I'm glad that they're still making games because they made some good ones. Um, but just being able to open it up to a whole bunch of other people, you're going to get more games. You're getting more varied games. You're getting more. I mean, how did they not with BioWare, who made one of my favorite games of all time, Knights of the Old Republic? How did they not make an RPG Star Wars game during that time? You know what I mean? Like it was just a missed opportunity, in my opinion.
Yeah, it seems. Sorry, I was just reading up here as well. So it seems like on for the Ubisoft Star Wars game, they're going to be using um, massive Snowdrop engine.
Yeah.
So they already know what engine they're going to be working on. And then Julian Garady. I'm not too sure if I'm pronouncing him right, but the director of the Division 2 and the crew, he's going to be the creative director on this.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it, man. And like it's I like at the end of the day, it's like LucasArts is still going to be involved. At least it seems like so. Whenever they're going to be doing other Star Wars
Lucasfilm
games,
Games now.
Lucasfilm Games. That's right. Yeah. Um, but it's like I guess they'll still be able to be in charge of what gets to be canon and what gets to not be canon because I never really gave a shit about like canon, like not just like look, I love Star Wars, but when it comes to canon anything, I don't care. I'm one of those people that are like, unless it like completely defies the laws of like the laws of physics in that world, for instance, I don't really care about what's canon, what's not canon. Sue me. Um, but yeah, I think it'll be cool because like I'd love to see other Star Wars games in the future too. Keep in mind, like you said, they're still got the deal for 2 more years, the exclusivity deal. So we're
Yeah,
not going to see this game for at least 2 more years until that exclusivity deal dies out.
yeah.
But hey, man, I want to see some like other. I'd love to like see some Star Wars indie games. If
Mm,
Lucasfilms games allowed some indie developers to touch their IP. That'd be so sick.
yeah. So yeah, I think this is all good news, and that hopefully this is the kind of the game. It's a massive did Assassin's Creed Revelations. They did Far Cry 3. They did the Division. They did the Division 2. So they have a pedigree, at least somewhat, with these kind of open world games. Um, I'm just looking forward to yeah, something new. And we're still getting the old stuff. In terms of the Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2, I do think it's actually a canon issue. I think it is probably what's holding it up versus because they're doing the Mass Effect trilogy remaster, which is coming out, I think, in March, if I'm not mistaken. Um, but with Knights of the Old Republic, some of that stuff in there is not compatible with current canon because it was made in an era when there was no like Disney hadn't bought Star Wars yet, and there was all kind of like book canon, movies canon, comic book, like it was all over the place, right? You could just make up like any story and would fit somewhere. And so while there is some stuff they probably want to keep that's really good, because I thought the story was fantastic and that's all pro. I think there is some stuff that needs to be altered or changed to fit into quote unquote the real current Star Wars canon. So I think that's maybe what the holdup is.
Yeah. Well, I'm just happy that at least they say here that at the end of the day they've got final say.
Yeah.
Lucasfilm Games, they've got the final say on everything, including um the Indiana Jones game as well.
Yeah. On a side note, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order got the next gen update. So for PS5 and Xbox Series X, and then I, I don't think they had. Did they have a PC version as well? Update?
I
I'm not
I'm
sure.
not too sure. Is there? Hold on. Yeah, it is on PC,
It is on
right?
PC. I'm just wondering if there was an
Yeah.
update on PC to optimize because I know they updated the frame rate and the resolution for both the PS5 and Xbox One, and you can it's one of those things where you can choose you want higher frame rate or you want higher resolution.
Uh, Same with like the Miles Morales situation.
Yeah, so
High
there's like
fidelity or high,
yeah,
yeah,
high performance or whatnot.
yeah,
So
high
yeah, I think
fidelity or
this
high
is
performance.
if yeah, I think this is just for the next gen consoles. But yeah, it's nice. It's obviously not something people are paying for. It's just a nice update to have. It means that they're still working on it, and hopefully we get to see a announcement for Jedi Fallen Order 2 sometime this year. Even though it won't come out this year, it'd be nice to just a little teaser or something like that, little hints on what that story could be. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Anything else on the Star Wars news that you want to say?
Um, I'm actually just like wondering what other IP Lucasfilm Games has because it's if they're gonna be like doing a bigger Indiana Jones games, like actually I'm curious. They have other IP. I just can't off the top of my head think of any other IP as to what they could be bringing up as well. Um,
Howard the
but no,
Duck? I don't know.
nonetheless, exciting news for me. Like it's good. Look, it's going to be years until we get it, but everyone like, look, Fallen Order was amazing, but everybody wanted at the end of the day they wanted an open world RPG kind of game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Fallen Order was awesome, but it was more of like a Souls kind of like Souls inspired game. You
Mhm.
know?
Yeah. Like I think Willow is under Lucasfilm. Howard the
Willow.
Duck,
Okay.
Lucas. Yeah. Howard the Duck.
How would
Willow.
that? Oh
Will
my
they're having
gosh.
that? I think it's a Netflix series for Willow. So, um, anyways, all right, let's move on to the next thing. So, the whole Cyberpunk 2077 thing still has not died out in terms of the controversy. You had the CD Projekt Red co-founder make this what is a 5-minute video, basically apologizing about what they were the launch of the game and the kind of disappointment. The co-founder Marcin Iwiniski in whiskey. I'm not sure. Basically, he did a 5-minute video talking about, he was sorry that the console versions didn't live up to what they had promised or what they'd shown, and I mean, he did throw in like some like positive stuff about the PC. He's like the people love the PC version, and the PC version had great reviews and whatnot, which is true. I mean, like I said, you and me got the good PC experience.
Yeah.
We didn't have to worry about you know too many glitches. I mean, honestly, I've had a few video glitches, like a few audio glitches, one game stuck glitch, and that's about it. I haven't run into anything crazy yet.
I will say I started bumping into like more like actual bugs. I would say like things that
Mhm,
like before that it was shader issues and
mhm,
like I said, every now and then like someone would like walk through something or people things wouldn't clip. You know what I mean? But
mhm,
it's like not like things that you can ignore and still enjoy the game. But towards the end of the game, but I because I think I almost 100% of the game. I was doing every
mhm,
single side quest I could because it was so much fun. And then I just started like really encountering some game breaking stuff. But I
mhm.
think it was just my save file was like
Too big.
at that it was too big as well because I was crafting so much stuff. But then it was really an issue of like I would see like cars flipping and stuff. But even then
Mhm,
it wouldn't like look like it's broken. It would just look like weird physics,
mhm.
like just weird in-game physics. So overall, still, yeah, you and I had a much better experience than everyone else. I will say because they did put out this they did roll out this plan a while ago that I
Yeah.
saw, like their Cyberpunk 2077 updates roadmap. I love how I love how like it's such a small thing, but it's like through all this they've kept their style, even though it's just an update picture, they've made it look all cyberpunky. But yeah,
Yeah.
so we're gonna get patch 1.1 and 1.2. Um, that's gonna be coming out the beginning of this year, and then we're gonna have some free DLC coming up sometime this
Yeah.
year, and then at like probably like mid 2021 is the free next gen update for consoles. I'm curious as to what the free DLC is gonna be, but like I'm not. I don't really have high hopes as well because whatever free DLC it's going to be, it's not nearly as much as a priority as fixing the game. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Unless
Yeah.
the DLC was something they were working on last year as well before the time, then which I
Maybe,
don't know.
or yeah, I mean, maybe it was some missions that weren't finished that they scrapped, or not, maybe not scrapped, but postponed for launch. And we're like, okay, we
What
can
would
throw
you
that
like
in
to
the
see as
DLC.
free DLC?
I mean, I haven't fully finished the game yet, so I'm not too sure how the storyline goes, and so what kind of maybe characters or
Because if
storylines I'd like to
I
spin
don't
off of
think the
from.
DLC will do. Yeah, I just have a feeling the DLC is not going to be like have anything to do with the story or anything. If
Mhm.
anything, it might be a few side quests. But what I'm thinking, just based
Yeah.
off of like The Witcher 3's DLCs, is probably going to be things like maybe a barber, like an in-game barber, so you can
Mhm.
change your hair and not have the same haircut the entire game, or like maybe other hairstyles, things like that. Like I at least in terms of like a free DLC, to be doing a free DLC whilst trying to fix this game,
Mhm.
that's the only thing that makes sense to me is if they're going to be doing other cosmetic things like that, like
Yeah, they're definitely
throwing in a couple
more.
free suits and stuff.
Yeah, they're definitely more focused on fixing the game, especially for console versions. Like you
Mm.
said, the free next gen console updates for PS5 and Xbox Series X won't be out until probably the second half of this year. But at this point, like they run pretty well on those consoles, anyways. So it's just more of a. I mean, obviously, there's probably still some bugs in there. I haven't played them yet, um, but it's not like the horror show that's happening with the base PS4 and the base Xbox One. So I feel like that's just not as high a priority. And then by the time it comes out too, it's like, you know what I mean? Like, are the people who are playing it or have played it gonna jump back in there just for the updated graphics? You know, who knows?
I
Maybe.
mean, I don't know. Like I have a few friends who are definitely going to go back to the game for for their next gen update when they get it. You know,
Mhm.
it's odd, but I do know a few people who are actually playing the entire game on a PS4 and having like they're having issues, but they're like I have a friend Michael who's literally having so much issues playing the game, but he's fighting through it because he's so interested in the story, which is like that's heartbreaking,
That's
man. So
commitment.
that is
That's commitment.
commitment, but it's also sad because he doesn't get to experience the story we did. But he'll definitely be enjoying the free update if once he gets to upgrade his console as well.
All right, so that's it with the Cyberpunk 2077 stuff. I'm sure we're still going to hear more about that. Another thing, big piece of news, which is to me it's I think it's related, which is Hogwarts Legacy has been delayed to 2022, which is the open worldish RPG game based in the Harry Potter universe. Which I mentioned many times before in the podcast. It's like I like Harry Potter in the movies, not so much the Fantastic Beast stuff, but I'm not like a hardcore fan. I don't never read the books. Like when the movies come out, I enjoy them, but I actually didn't really care much for the first two movies, but the rest were good. But this game to me is right up my alley on the type of game I like, which is open world with at least action RPG elements to it. But they've delayed it to 2022, which I think is probably semi-related to this Cyberpunk 2077. I mean, the Cyberpunk 2077 thing is like huge. It's going to have like ramifications and reverberations through the whole industry. It's like, oh, because there's been a lot of things like Anthem, right? They launched too early for that, and they're like, oh
Yeah.
man, Fallout 76 launched too early. A lot of pressure from investors and whatnot to like try and make money as soon as possible, and now they're starting to realize their ambitions are too big and too fast, that they need to kind of slow down. And I feel like Cyberpunk 2077 was like the one big one that has now like turned the industry to be like, oh, that's what happens if uh release something too early or not what you were planning on doing. So I feel like this is related where whoever um
Well, they're scared, you know.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't blame them, you know. It's one of those things where like people aren't going to release a game nowadays unless they know 100% it works on every single like platform that they want to release it on. People are going to be like second like guessing for, like future deals. They're going to be going, "Do we really want to support old gen?" You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they're going to be really considering it. They're like, is it worth the money, you know?
In this case, it
Yeah.
is. I mean, this is WB Games, Portkey Games developing, and Avalanche Software.
Also, it seems
The,
like the game that doesn't seem super resource heavy. Like it does
no,
look beautiful, but they can easily like you don't need ray tracing or anything for this
no,
kind of
no.
game. You know what I mean? It would look great, but you don't need it.
But
You
they
know?
are aiming to release on PS4, Xbox One, so previous generation, or yeah. I don't know what point we're at right now, because it's like we're still calling it PS5 and Xbox Series X next gen because they just came out. I guess current gen technically is still PS4, Xbox One, but it's a bigger install base. They're not going to throw away money by not making a version for those, because you know people are going to buy them. There's a lot of people that are not planning to upgrade. I mean, I haven't upgraded yet. That would buy this game. So yeah, originally they were going to do 2021, but they probably got scared by what happened to Cyberpunk and were like, let's do 2022 just to be
Yeah,
safe.
I will say I'm disappointed by the news. It's I don't like it's understandable, like we just said, knowing everything, they're a little worried, they're a little skeptical, but this was one of the games that I was like really excited for. Just like I used to love the old Harry Potter games, like the first I think literally the first 3 or 4 like games based off of the movies.
Hmm.
I played on PC and PlayStation, and I love those. Like, I just, mind you, this open world game, this Hogwarts game is set in other places besides Hogwarts, but like it's it's everything that I've wanted, and it's everything so many other people have wanted. You get to be a student in Hogwarts. You're
Hmm.
gonna have the sorting hat. You're gonna go through the whole goddamn like process. You're gonna be a freaking wizard. You're gonna be doing all sorts of stuff that a young child shouldn't be doing at wizarding school. You know, like I was like mad looking forward to this game. So like, dude, it's a big delay as well. Like, they just moved it from 2021 to 2022 with no like real exact details on the
Yeah,
delay. You know,
they just said they need more time to make sure it's right. So which is
which
fine.
is fair.
I'd
It's
rather
fair.
hear that than getting a game out too early and having all kinds of problems with it. It's funny because all those things you mentioned, I'm excited for too. But it's weird. Like when I watch it in the movies, I'm like, whatever. But like if it's you playing as a character, then all those things suddenly become much more important to you in terms of, yeah,
I hope there's
which group you
classes.
get
I
put
want to
into.
get good grades and stuff. It
Yeah,
sounds stupid, but I want a good report card, you know?
yeah,
Like, it's the simple things like that that I really enjoy in the game. I'm sure the
yeah.
combat's going to be amazing. I'm sure the story's going to be amazing. But man, let me take my potions class, you know? I want to let me see where my defense of the dark arts teacher is.
Yeah.
But yes,
Uh,
I'm a bit disappointed by that. But hey, it is what it is. Let them do what they need to do.
yeah. All right. My last thing here is just kind of I just found this interesting. There's an article talking about how Microsoft actually had tried to buy Nintendo before they had done Xbox. They figured like we're really good at making hardware and Nintendo's great at making software, making games, and that they wanted to partner up with them. And they basically said when they went to those meetings, they were just being laughed at the whole time, which is funny because Microsoft is a much bigger company than Nintendo, but obviously at that point they didn't really have that much games experience. And even though they didn't want to be acquired, there were still some sort of interesting developments where Microsoft tried to be like, how about we just help you make the hardware because they're good at that, and Nintendo, take that off their plate. So there were some sort of continual meetings where Nintendo did come and check out Microsoft's building and check out their technology, but it still didn't work out. And then obviously Xbox, they built their own, which is interesting in the way of like, people always laugh off competitors, and yeah, sometimes they fail, but sometimes it comes, and not to say it would bit Nintendo in the ass because they're still doing very well with Nintendo Switch. But what I'm saying is now you have a third competitor in the console gaming space, right? I mean,
Yeah,
just think about this. Blockbuster used to laugh at Netflix, you know,
that's true. That's very true.
and a lot of stores used to laugh at Amazon. Like a lot of companies end up, I'm not saying Xbox is nowhere near like that type of size in the marketplace, but what I'm saying is it ended up being a decent sized competitor. So I just thought that was interesting news or history, I guess.
Nice, yeah. And I got a few other small things to mention before
Cool.
we get going as well. Just a reminder: the Mass Effect Legendary Edition is supposedly coming out in March,
Yeah.
which is great. If you've never played the Mass Effect series, this is the best. This is going to be a great way to get into it. The first 3 games are amazing.
Yeah.
Ghost of Tsushima fans help with the real life Tsushima island repairs, which I thought was
Yeah. I
quite.
heard
That's
about that.
just cool to mention that. Yeah, it managed to reach 542% the initial target. So it's they went above and beyond, which is really really cool. And then this is more important for me, or just more like I care about it more. I don't know if anybody else does, but there's a episode 2 act 1 of Valorant started just the other day. There's a new agent out. He's at the moment he's overpowered. I think he's going to get nerfed. But yeah, it's been great. New season's been super fun so far. Battle Pass is great. The skins have been cool. The game's starting to pick up as well now, which is nice. I think we've gotten a whole bunch of new players because like I don't know if there's any hype around this new act, but there's definitely a whole lot of new players that have started playing in the past few days. So that's always good. I like to see the servers get full. Monster Hunter Rise, the next Monster Hunter game, will actually let you ride monsters, which is so awesome because that's the one thing I was thinking in Monster Hunter World. I was like, I would love to ride one of these monsters. I mean, you technically do, but you're not really riding them. You're just holding onto them and stabbing them. You're just trying to get them. You're just trying to knock them down. But yeah, that seems like it's going to be a cool mechanic. The new wyvern riding feature. Yeah, that looks quite interesting. But yeah, Monster Hunter Rise. There's a couple of trailers out of that. If you guys haven't seen it, it looks sick. Outriders got delayed, which is a game that I was looking forward to. It was supposed to come out like sometime last year, and then it got delayed to February. It was supposed to come out next month, and then now it just got delayed again. So next month we're getting the demo, but the Outriders, the game, is coming out in April, and supposedly, if you at least in terms of PC gaming, if you have bought a PC in the past 6 years, it will run the game. So you don't need like a souped up supercomputer to be playing this game. If you've bought a computer in the past 6 years, you should be able to play it. And then this is just interesting to bring up because I guess it just didn't do well. But Minecraft Earth is shutting down in June. I'm assuming there was just no hype around it. There was not a lot of people using it. I tried it out. I didn't enjoy it. It was kind of boring. And this is just weird. The PlayStation Store keeps listing games for £10,000. Which is just, I don't know why. I'm sure it's not like it's gonna affect their sales because nobody's gonna accidentally be spending $10,000 on a game. You know what I mean? But yeah, for some reason, some games keep getting listed as like £10,000 on the PlayStation Store. Let's see here. A couple more things. Oh wait, I already spoke about that. Actually, yeah, that's all. That's all I got from me.
Cool. So yeah, thanks for everyone joining us and sticking with us. And yeah, if you're already following our Twitter account, we did change it. It's at Revog Games now. But if you already follow it, you're still following it. We just changed the Twitter handle and the branding and everything. So if you want to tweet at us there, Josh, where can people find you?
You guys can find me right here on the Revog channel, and you guys can find me on, I'm guessing we're going to set up a new Discord?
No, Discord's still the same. We just changed the server. So if you're already on the Discord, if not, check it out.
Yeah, fantastic. You guys are more than welcome to at me in the Discord if you guys have got any questions at all, and I'll be sure to get back to you guys.
Yeah, and I believe the link should still be the same, even though we changed the name in terms of the joining it. So anyways, I also have condensed down the topics. I put too many topics in there, so I've kind of reduced it down to make it more simplified. Yeah. So, and then I think me and Josh will be in there a lot more often too as well.
Yeah, I'm usually on like almost 24/7. So if at any point in time you guys want to ask any questions, hit me up. Or if you guys want to play some games, hit me up.
Cool. All right, guys. That's it. Wait, did you give your socials yet?
Yeah, no. I've deleted all my socials. It's been wonderful for my anxiety.
All right, you can follow me on Twitter at ThinkHero, Instagram Dennis.tzng, and like I said, subscribe. And we changed this one to YouTube.com/Revog, so you can just go to that. It's shorter and easier. And then also give us suggestions on what videos you want to see, whether it's video game related or not, and we can see what we do. All right, until next time, we'll see you guys later.
Later.